Hello, 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 welcome. Oh, I don't have in my headphone. I hope you guys can hear me. There we go. Good morning. Hello there. Good morning and welcome. It is Thursday, April 19th. It is 10 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I hope you're having a great day or a great morning or a great evening. This is Unleash Your Light. My name is Lee Cara. Hi, Krista. Nice to see you. This is Unleash Your Light. I guess I'm live. I'm going to take a moment just to share with my friends. I hope you'll take a moment to share with your friends. Good morning, Robert, Isabel. Good morning, Kelly. So nice to see you guys. I hope you'll take a moment to do the same here. Wait, let me face this. Yeah, we'll face that way. Okay. We have a great show today. We're going to talk about setting your mind on things. Hi, Nita. And hi, Christy. We just had the new moon, which was about breaking old paradigms, setting in new intentions. And I did a whole show on this on Tuesday. Hi, Andrea. So this is a great time to have this show. It is so interesting when these things come in like synchronistically, that this just happens to be the order. Good morning, Rena. That this just happens to be the order that things come in, that they just happen to come in at exactly the right time that it comes in the show. So I'm super excited about it. I hope you guys are having a great week. My energy has been really high this week, which is good. Some weeks are good. Some weeks are not so good. So this is a good week. So I'm feeling really good this week. I hope you guys are too. Some of those energies have been real heavy lately. For those of you who are a little bit more sensitive, that kind of stuff. I knew a lot of people who were really sick last week, like really, really sick. Carrying a lot of heavy energy and stuff. And I heard that kind of passed. And that the people who were having problems with that, they're starting to feel a little bit lighter, a little bit better. So that's really good. That makes me happy. I like it when people start to feel better and the energy starts to lift. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Linda. And everyone starts to feel a little bit more on the lighter side. And one of the things that I specifically heard from Emily is that we're going to start to be able to recognize that we are processing things a lot faster. I kind of think of it like our CPU is going quicker. So we don't need to take quite as much time to process all that stuff that's usually so hard. Hi, Patty. Welcome. All right. I hope you guys shared with your friends. I shared with a few of my friends and my people over at Sology. For those of you who don't know, I do broadcast 2 times a week. I'm only here once, but I also broadcast over on Sology on Tuesdays. Right after this show, I'll be on my personal page for another half an hour. That's me. So that way you can find me. I think I'm the only Lee Cara on Facebook, which I was chatting about this last night. I did a show with Norma Rasmussen. And they have Universal Light Pure Love Ministries. We did a show about unconditional love last night. It was amazing. We had so much fun. But we were talking about that. I said, I think there's 2 billion people on Facebook, but if you search Lee Cara, I might be the only person named Lee Cara on Facebook. I don't know. Maybe it's because when I search, it comes up because I'm me. And so it comes up in my search. But good morning, Griselle. Anyways, so I need to spend less time chatting with you guys and more time getting to the point because I only have 30 minutes and I always run out of time before I say all the beautiful things I want to talk to you about. So Unleash Your Light is all about overcoming those emotional obstacles that keep us from connecting with that divinity inside. Good morning, Becky. Mwah. That keep us from connecting with that divinity that's already inside of us, right? We all have that divinity, that divine being inside of us. But our emotional stuff, our human life that we've had can keep us from connecting with that because it leaves a residue of pain and suffering and trauma. That's true, Andrea. That's because it's short for my government name, Lisa. So that's why it's LI, is because it's actually Lisa. That's my government name. So all of that stuff that we do in our human life can leave this residue of, I call it like tar, like goopy, yucky tar all over our beautiful golden divine light, right? And so we have to do something to clean that off so that that light, that divinity, so that that connection with the universe, with God, with Gaia, with whatever you like to call the higher power, Fred, the collective, can shine out, right? Yes, Rena is on after me today, and then Andrea is on later tonight. Yeah, Prince called that his slave name, right? When he had that the contract with the corporation, and he changed his name to the symbol. Those of you who are young probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but anyways, yeah, that's my government name. So we have to clean that off. And that's what all these steps that I've been talking about in Unleash Your Light is all about, is just simple things that are not so easy, but simple things that help you to clean all that yucky, goopy stuff that we have been carrying around, that tar, that residue that we've been carrying around with us for our whole lives, that keep us from being fully connected to that divinity that's already inside of us, because it wants to connect with us and it's just waiting for us, and it's always trying to talk to us through signs and symbols and stuff going on all around us. It tries to create synchronicities and coincidences and bring people into our paths and opportunities to us all the time. And the more of this yucky stuff that we carry, the harder it is for us to hear that stuff. And the harder it is for us to connect with that stuff. Hi, Elaine, welcome. So Unleashing Your Light is all about being able to connect with that stuff, because we're getting rid of all the yucky stuff that we carry in our human life. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you're practicing in your spiritual practices, the one thing we all have in common is that we are all human. At the end of the day, we are all human, right? Hello, Kim, welcome. So because we're all human, we've all lived a human life. We all understand pain. We all understand suffering. We all understand rage and anger and jealousy and pain and sadness and depression. And we've all had people that have teased us, and we've all had things that run through our head. And we all have the same type of issues that we go through, right? And so because of this human commonality, we all have to recognize that we're all connected and in this together, not just by our divinity, which we are all connected in almost a hive mind when we're in that collective, but we are also connected through our humanity. So we have 2 points of connection in this world that we should be celebrating. Oh, look at my co-host there. Isn't he beautiful? This is my co-host Q. He's like my constant companion, you guys. I just love him so much. Anyways, okay, so our topic today is set your mind. Set your mind. So what do I mean? I'm not talking about goals. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about anything other than focusing, being self-aware. And it's not about saying, if you don't do it this way, then you're not doing it right. It's not about saying, Rena, furry office assistants, I love that. Do they lay down on your computer and help? Because mine like to do that as soon as I take out the computer. Or a piece of paper, they want to lay on the paper. Yeah, and he's in my lap all the time, like all the time when I'm doing my shows, I have to make a hole for him to lay in the hole. Otherwise he perches uncomfortably, and he's fat. He's probably 15, 16 pounds, and he'll perch like a bird on my legs and just stand there and stare at me until I make a hole for him to sink into. It's the funniest thing. Anyways, okay, so setting your mind is not about, I'm going to set a goal for myself, and if I don't get it, then there's something wrong with me, that I'm going to judge myself. I'm going to set this up, and I have to make 3 connection, or I have to meditate 10 hours a day, or I have to even meditate 10 minutes a day, or I have to be more kind, or I have to, do you know what I'm saying? We're not setting goals. We're not setting thresholds Oh, wow. See, everybody's got their own little thing. I feel like they're there to support us in our spiritual thing. They like change our energies, right? We're not setting goals or expectations. I believe that when you set an expectation, it is the easiest way for you to set up judgments for yourself. Okay? Because our society and our lifetimes have taught us that we set these things up, and then when we don't get to them, now you're a loser. Now you're a failure. Now you're never going to get what you want. Now nobody loves you. Nobody's ever going to love you. You don't deserve that anyways. See, I knew you were going to fail. It's this cycle that begins, right? What I mean when I say set your mind is those thoughts right there. When you hear those thoughts right there, that you recognize them. That you recognize those thoughts and you go, nope, not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm amazing. I'm listening to myself. I'm listening to myself, and I am more than. I am divine. I am doing the very best at this moment. I am being loving towards myself. That's setting your mind. It's not about setting goals that you may not be able to achieve right now. It's not about saying, I have to do it this way. That's not setting your mind. Setting your mind is about paying attention. Yes, like mindfulness. It's about paying attention and being self-aware to what's actually going on. And to stepping outside of the drama that runs through our brain all the time. Now, I am a reality show junkie. Those of you who sit on my couch with me on a regular basis, because that's where I do my other shows. I'm a little less formal and I sit on my couch. You know that I'm a reality show junkie, but it's because I'm an observer of human nature. And what goes on in our head is like we are narrating a soap opera, right? And we can go through this entire story in our brains of what we did, what they did, what we should have done, what they should have done, what we want to do, what they want to do. And not only are we narrating what should have happened, we're also pointing the finger at ourselves for how we behaved, for how we should have behaved, for what might have happened, for what could happen, what kind of person are we? We could call ourselves names. We might be commenting on how we look. There's 1,000 different things that will run through our head all at the same time. And what are we doing while that's happening? We might be driving. We might be doing dishes. We might be having a conversation with our kids. And all of that stuff is happening at the same time. We might be at work doing some mindless task at work. And while we're in that mindless task, we are doing 1,000 different dramas all at the same time. That's where I want you to pay attention. That's where setting your mind comes into play. Because those are the moments where we want to change. Imagine if you could take those moments and turn them into something productive, right? Imagine if you could take those moments and dedicate them to transformation. Dedicate them towards loving yourself, towards saying something positive, towards unconditional love towards yourself. Good morning, Emily. Everyone say good morning, Emily. Good morning, Emily. Welcome back from vacation. Imagine if you could take those moments that you are spending in possibly unhealthy, toxic thoughts that are running through your mind in non-productive ways that are on autopilot that you're not even paying attention to because you're actually kind of half focused on your work and half focused on those thoughts and half focused on your grocery list and half focused on what you're going to do later. And you have a million focuses going on, right? Imagine if you could take all of those little pieces of focus and set your mind on, nope, I am divine. I am beautiful today. I am loving. Yes, switching out of the autopilot. One of the things that I like to use to do that is I'm a visual person. And I find that laughter, I'm also, obviously, I laugh a lot, you guys, and I'm constantly cracking up, and I crack myself up all the time. And maybe that's something some people, when I was in school in the 80s, I was in high school in the 80s, the worst thing you could say to something is, she's so stuck up. She thinks that she's like beautiful. What's wrong with her, right? Hi, Teresa. Like, that was the worst thing that you could say to someone, was that they thought they were beautiful. They thought they were stuck up, right? Nowadays, everybody's trying to get compliments, and everybody's saying, I'm all that. I'm beautiful. I'm blah, 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 blah. You know, now it's completely different. So I crack myself up all the time. I find myself very amusing. And since I live here pretty much by myself with my son, I have to amuse myself. But one of the things that I do to kind of snap myself out of these things is that when I catch myself falling into old habits, doing those old things, saying those things to myself, first of all, I always start by saying the opposite. If I'm saying something, God, you're so stupid, what is wrong with you? I always say, no, I am incredibly smart. It was just a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. It's okay. It's no big deal. The world isn't going to end. Everything is fine. And I'm always very loving about it. But the other thing that I do, and you mentioned autopilot, Krista, which I find hysterical because I used this the other day speaking with someone, is I told them your plane is on autopilot. And what you have to do is snap that plane out of autopilot because there's a bug in the system. So you want to picture something that will snap you out of it immediately when you think about it. So for that particular person, because I had used that, there's a bug in the autopilot program, I said, picture a giant bug flying a plane every time you start thinking those thoughts of, what if I can't do this? I'm just going to fail again. What happens if I make the wrong decision? Everything's going to go in the wrong direction, and that person's going to lie to me, and I'm going to fail at my job, and I'm going to... Exactly. What you decide now, even if you fail, could be exactly what you need to do. You might have to fail. And we don't want to hear that you might have to fail, but you might have to fail. So fussing about it and worrying about it and sitting there in that state of worry is not what's going to fix things. It's not how you're going to move forward. It's not what's going to change. What's going to change things for you is setting your mind on everything is going to work out the way that it's supposed to work out. And I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to do everything I can, but it's all going to work out. That's it. And then you let the thought go. And you picture a giant bug flying your plane. You're like on autopilot. You set your mind. You set your mind on the positive, on the good things, on everything happening the way that it's supposed to happen. I don't even set my mind on an outcome. Because when you say it's going to turn out like this, you set up an expectation for something and you set yourself up for disappointment. Because you don't know what the future holds. The universe knows what the future is going to hold. We can have a hope. We can have a dream. We can have a wish that things are going to go in a particular direction. But isn't there like a country song that says, sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers? We don't always know what the universe has in store for us. I wanted my marriage to work more than anything. And I was in a cycle, a destructive cycle of forgiveness for 24 years. But recognizing that that is not for my highest good is the best thing that I can possibly do for myself. It is the kindest thing that I can do for myself. Allowing the universe to take this over and take me to where I need to be is the best thing that I can do. Now, I'm looking at a future with a complete blank canvas. I have no financial security. I have nothing out there. I have absolutely no job prospects. I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do to support myself once my son is out of school. But you know what? I have faith. That's next week's show, by the way, Have Faith. I have faith that the universe is going to put things in the right direction. I could sit in bitterness and in anger. I could sit in those thoughts of what the hell am I going to do and what's going to happen next. And oh my God, my whole life is falling apart after 20 something years with this man. And we built this whole thing together. And what am I going to, like, I could sit in those thoughts and stew in them and stew in them and stew in them. But how does that change things? How does that fix things? How does that make anything happen other than create a bubbling, turmoiling, yucky tar on my beautiful light? How does that help the universe help me? There's another saying in the Bible, like, God helps those who help themselves. I'm not a Bible person, but these are ancient texts that have wisdom. Lots of ancient texts have wisdom. I'm not a Christian per se, but ancient texts have wisdom. And the way that we help ourselves is to get out of the way, to connect to that divinity, and to kind of put your hands up and go, you know what? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to try to listen to what you're saying. I'm going to keep my mind focused on moving forward, on staying positive, on loving myself, on forgiving people, on not judging. I'm going to stay focused on my steps. Be nice to others. Be nice to yourself, forgiving others, forgiving yourself, releasing your past, ignoring your feelings. That's those yucky feelings, those primal feelings. Yes, surrender. And part of this, a big part of this, people will say to you, but that's just how I feel. Those are just my thoughts. That's just what comes into my head. Who's in your head with you? Who is that in there having that conversation with you? It's you. It's you. You're having that conversation with you. You're the one talking back to you. You're the one saying those mean things to yourself. It's you. You're controlling the narrative that goes on in your head. Take control of the narrative in your head. Yes, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. You are in control of the narrative. You're driving the bus. Now, you may not be in control of what happens in the outside world. You're not creating the synchronicities per se, although we have a hand in it. You're not the one who is making other people do things. You are not the one who is doing any of that. But you do control what happens in your own mind. You do control, by Kelly, you do control the conversation that happens in your head. You do control how you speak to yourself. You do control your own thoughts. And now you may not control what pops up. Yes, a bad thought can pop up. I'm a loser. That can pop up easily. But when that thought pops up, we don't have to water it. We don't have to sprinkle fertilizer on it. We don't have to love it and give it sunshine and talk to it every day. Yes, I am a loser. I am a loser. No, we can go, oh, no, I'm not a loser, and yank that out at the roots. This is not a thought that I want growing in my brain. I am not a loser. I am learning every day, and I may have made bad choices in the past that caused this to grow up from the root, but guess what? I'm going to trace down where that root's at. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get rid of it. I love you, little loser root, and we're going to weed you out and get rid of you. And we throw it away. And every time it comes up, we reset our mind. Every time it pops up, we do it again. Every time that one of those thoughts comes up, you look at yourself in the mirror. I used to say F you to myself every day. Every day, if I spotted myself in the mirror, I would say F you. And instead of that, I would force myself to say, no, I love you. You are beautiful. And I would look myself right in the eyes, which was the hardest thing. Let me tell you something. When you look yourself right in the eyes and speak to yourself in the mirror, I would cry every time. And I had to start reminding myself to do it before I put on my makeup. Otherwise, I would have to put on makeup again. Seriously, because I would do it and I would put on my makeup and I would be thinking, F you, these like horrible, horrible things, along with all of my lists, along with all of my stuff, along with 20 different narratives. And then I would look in the mirror and I would try to undo it. And then I would have the eyeliner running down my face and I would have to go, oh, I have to remember to do that before I put on my makeup. Because it is a very, like, when you really look into your own eyes, you almost see yourself from an outside perspective. And I told the story last week about Eckhart Tolle stepping back away from himself as he was having like this screaming hissy fit and saying, if I'm watching myself have that angry hissy fit, who is the observer and who is having that screaming fit? And when you lean into a mirror and you really look at yourself in the eyes, you almost get that same sensation if it's not something that you're used to doing, and you have a conversation with yourself. It's almost like having a conversation with somebody else. You almost get that same type of energy of having a conversation with someone else. And if that's not something that you're used to doing, I suggest that you have a very loving, honest, frank conversation with yourself where you tell yourself that you have your back. I got your back, girl. I am here with you. And every time I hear you saying something mean, I got your back. And I'm going to support you. And I'm going to love you. And I'm going to be there for you. Just like you would to your best friend. And that's how you make this change. That's how you set your mind. It's all about being there for yourself. It's all about patting yourself on the back. It's all about paying attention to what goes through your mind and shifting it. So when we can shift our perspective on things, we can change everything. We can change everything. It's like the story of the blind men and the elephant, which I'm sure everybody knows, about how there's, several blind men standing around an elephant and they're all touching him in different spots. And one of them is touching the side and they're like, oh, I'm touching a wall. And another one's touching the tail. Oh, I'm touching a rope. And another one is touching the trunk. Oh, I'm touching a hose. Another one is touching the ear. Oh, this one must be a flap of leather. But they're all touching an elephant. And they just don't have the same perspective on it. Shift your perspective. Step back from your situations. See yourself in a different light. Have your own back. For God's sakes, you got to be your own cheerleader. You have to be the one to support you. It's nice to have a support system. It is. But let me tell you something. Sometimes you don't have a support system. In those moments in the night when you're alone, you don't have a support system. Then what do? When your kids grow up and leave? When your friends are out of town, or if you don't have friends? Self-validation, self-support. Because you are never alone. You are always connected to the collective. And you are always connected to that energy of divinity. And so learning how to lean on yourself, learning how to access that energy when you need it is one of the most amazing things. And I told this story last night on the show about unconditional love. I was having a really difficult encounter with someone in my family. And I was feeling very weak. And I really needed some support. Yes, Marla, I have 2 grown kids who are not in the house. I have 1 left. I'm separated from my husband. And he was always been my rock, but we kept ourselves very isolated. And I really don't have any contact with my family. And it's just me and my son here. I don't have really any friends locally. I made 1 friend recently. I'm meeting her for lunch today. So I was feeling very alone and having an issue. And we were in a hotel. And I went walking down. I said, I got to go get a drink. And I walked down the hallway to get a soda for my son. And I'm standing there in this little soda room. And I'm like, I really need some support. And I thought to myself, I need the energy of the collective. And I did a little breath, and I pictured that column of light, that runs up our chakras and connects to the collective. And I pictured that column of light going up and just filling me. And I could feel the love from all of you guys. I could feel the people in the collective, the energies in the collective sending me energy. And immediately I had this image of myself, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I felt like Neo at the end of the Matrix when I went walking back down that hallway, like the halls of the hallway were bowing out with my energy. And I was walking down that hall like Beyonce in this gorgeous golden dress flowing out behind me, with my hair flowing in the wind, and just golden energy bowing out the hallway, just all unconditional love, all light, all forgiveness, all just full of this energy, because I was able to reset my mind, to access that collective, and to step into a moment where I leaned on it. Oh, Marla, so much love. Everybody said love to Marla. So much love to you, and so much healing. I was able to lean into the collective. And Marla, you can do this as well. You lean into that energy of the collective, because we are connected to every single person in this universe. We are connected to every single energy that's here. It was an amazing feeling. And the more that you clean off this yucky stuff that we carry, the easier it will be for you with that energy. So setting your mind and paying attention to those things is the way that we're going to keep on that path, is the way that you keep focusing on those new energies. And we just had that new moon that passed, and it's all about setting your intentions. I just did a show on this on Tuesday, but the message that I had was that we don't need a new moon to set new intentions, that every moment is a chance to start over. In fact, if I mess up right now, okay, look, I'm going to think a bad thought. Oh, you know what? I screwed up. Guess what? I'm going to do better right now. And from this point on, I'm going to try to do better. That moment is a chance for us to start again. And that's what setting your mind is. It's a reset. And every moment can be a reset. Every moment is a chance to start again. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And I know you can all hear part of the Akashic Academy. Pushing up on my time. In fact, I'm a little bit past my time. But speaking of the support of the Akashic Academy, you're here on the public page, which Emily Harrison, the director, has been so kind to share all of these fabulous people and their teachings. Rena comes on right after me with the Rainbow Bridge in a little bit. Andrea Jones-Stepnowski comes on later tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern. With the Sacred Chakra Flow, I believe is the name of the show, and really good information there. But there is a secret group, a secret group that you can join. If you go to askyourrecords.com, you can get more information on that. It's $11.11 a month, and Emily does guided meditations there. She does channeled messages. Coach Nick does mindfulness training in there. There's all kinds of extra information, and they're adding new stuff all the time. They're doing this huge revamp on the whole situation. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's beautiful now. You're going to want to get in as soon as possible. So go to askyourrecords.com, and Emily will take really good care of you. Make sure you let her know that Lee sent you over there. I am here every Thursday at 10 a.m. right here on the Akashic Academy page. I do broadcast twice a week, my show, Unleash Your Light. And right after this, I'm going to sit on my couch and do another half hour talking about setting your mind and some ways that that can help you to stay stuck in that mindset of new beginnings, of starting over, of staying in that contradictory reprogramming kind of a mindset. I'm a little less formal on the couch. I just kind of hang out and sip my my hot waters. So you can go just search for me, Likara. You should be able to find me. I love you guys so much. I love my mornings here on the Akashic Academy. Make sure you check everybody out today, and I hope you have a great weekend. I love you guys so much. And I will see you next week. Next week, we're going to talk about having faith, which is so important. I don't mean religion. I mean belief. I mean knowing. And that is something that if you're here, man, you definitely got the faith. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope I see you on my couch in just a few minutes.